is the HomeTech Podcast for Friday, January 12th or January 5th. I don't know. From Sarasota, Florida, I'm Seth Johnson.
From Reynoldsburg, Ohio, I'm TJ Huddleston.
And from Pickering, Ontario, I'm Gavin Campbell.
And welcome to the HomeTech Podcast, a podcast all about not recording a home automation podcast for a week. And not only was it not recorded, but it was a massive episode.
Yeah, that was a good one. I mean, honestly, we talked a lot. We talked forever. Probably as much as we're going to talk in this one.
It's the 2-hour episode you will never hear.
It's just all gone. It was perfect. I mean, it was probably the best episode we've ever released.
Yeah.
But we didn't release it. So
didn't release. So that's what this one is. We'll go back and we'll cover our bases on that. We'll just read over and make sure that we mention some of the things that we talked about then. But I think, this episode, we got to talk a lot about CES. I mean, there's all sorts of AI stuff and robots and
Matter.
Say CES? What's that? Never heard of it.
That's the Consumer Electronics Stadium or something.
Oh.
I don't know. In Vegas. Yeah.
Oh, and that giant dome thing they built, right?
Yeah. That's what you do.
Sense,
you go in there. Yep. I think, Paul Simon plays in there or something. I don't know how it works.
Don't worry. At the end of this 3-hour episode, you're going to know exactly what CES is.
All right. I'm ready.
It's a very interesting show. And it used to have all the major players at it. And now it has some of the major players in it. Like Sony, LG's there. But it doesn't have any computer people there. Walmart was there, which was interesting. They were showing off their delivery drones. People say that you can see the future at CES, and I guess that's true. But sometimes you just see vaporware. So
at least half vaporware, I would say. I mean, it's really cool. I mean, it's supposed to be kind of like a futuristic kind of show, right? Like it's showing you what kind of tech is capable of and what we can do. But it's not always marketable stuff. And so, it's a preview. Some of it's going to exist in the future. Maybe 25% of it will actually be released this year. And 25% I feel like is super generous.
Yeah. I think I remember we were talking on the last episode about Nanoleaf not ever with Richard about Nanoleaf never releasing the what was it, the ceiling light or something like that?
Yeah, those are pretty cool.
Yeah, they never came out with that, and now, we'll cover it later, but they have they're releasing new products, so it's well, wait a minute, what you talked about last year didn't come out. And I went back and looked, and last year they had the toilet technology. Remember that was a thing you could pee on?
Oh yeah.
That's not out yet, and the company's already announced. Well, again, we'll talk about them maybe this week a little bit. They're already announcing new stuff that they're going to do, but maybe. We'll get there, but I got some stories that hit towards the end of 2023. We didn't really talk about them. I'm just gonna blow through these really quickly. Yeah, lightning round. We'll just go through that. Towards the end of the year, you may not have heard, but Google bricked a bunch of home minis, and I guess there's a way that you can either fix it now or get a replacement. I think it was get a replacement. That was all done through a software update. Whoops. Philips Hue reorganized, plans a bunch of job cuts to save $218 million. And Philips Hue, not the only one. Everybody got fired today, it seems like. The Everything Presence Pro was announced. It's got a millimeter wave, industrial PIR. Here's the big thing, though. PoE. I know that just like TJ, his eyes just lit up.
Oh my gosh, I'm excited. Everything's PoE now. Everything's coming with PoE, and I love it. I wish everything just came with PoE as an option.
Well, that was my major problem with the Aquara one, how it installed. And the same thing with this guy is it installs with this USB-C thing, which is not a cable that is normal. But with PoE, you can just hook it up and then you're there. You got data and everything. Good to go.
I think to harken back to our episode with Daniel, one of the things I didn't even think about before that conversation was Matter over Ethernet as a possibility. And so I really hope that some companies do something with that eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. Lutcher and Caseta, they announced smart switches will now have an auto off timer feature. It's kind of nice. Turn the light on. You can tell it, hey, if this has been on for 45 minutes, turn it off. This is always great to put in closets. Absolutely great to put in closets. And bathroom fan. I have one on my bathroom fan. That thing, could run all day if I let it. But, after 45 minutes or an hour, I have it just turn off,
Welcome to 2023, Lutron.
Yeah, exactly. Playing some catch up there, but I'm glad they did it because that's kind of basic functionality.
People have been asking for that, so.
And then Unify botched up something. They were actually pretty upfront with this and they did tell everybody kind of like what happened, but they stated a total of 1,200 accounts were basically improperly associated with another group of another 1,200 accounts, basically. And if you logged in that day, you could see somebody else's dashboard, somebody else's clients. If you're an MSP and have a bunch of them, I can log in mine and see like 4 or 5 systems. I imagine if I logged in one day and saw like 80 or 90 systems and I could go in and look at the cameras and everything, that would not be good. That's not a good security thing. So they said they resolved it, and Unify. There they go. Got a bunch of new products out now too. Anyway, that's the end of the 2023 stories. I thought we were important. We just bring it up. And then we got CES coverage to go over.
So much CES stuff.
We're going to blow through this too. Like, there's not much. I mean, there's stuff to talk about, but it's all kind of like
half as useless. So
yeah, it'll be nice. I mean, like, so the TVs are going to ship, right? So we can talk about how LG is shipping AI powered OLED TVs. Ooh. Yay. Okay. Everything's AI, by the way. Like, that was the big buzzword, of course, this year, as it has been for the last couple of years, but everybody wants to talk about AI. So yay, I guess. That the AI TVs basically mean that they're going to be able to clean up the picture a little bit better when you're going from like a lower resolution picture, maybe from your cable box or from a satellite dish or something, and you're going up to like 4K or 8K even. You got to fill in the blanks where those pixels were, where there's not any information. So what they do is they run it through these AI optimized image optimization things, and it actually does a little bit of. I mean, those engines are pretty good, so can't complain about that. One of the big things I saw, like everybody was talking about with these LG, and I guess Samsung had one too, but like LG had some transparent OLED TVs. Samsung had the standard LEDs that they use, the micro LEDs or whatever, but everybody seems very impressed with the LG OLED transparent ones. I swear I've seen these before. Like, they were basically they had the walls of their entire booth at Infocom, but maybe these are different. Maybe those were LCDs or whatever, and these are OLEDs. Basically, if you want to see a TV and you want to look through it and see fuzzy people standing on the other side, there's probably some pictures you can find of this thing. I don't see the use in this. I don't know why I would put this in my house.
I think this is cool, not as a TV. I think the use case when we were at CEDIA, where you could use it on like display cases and stuff like that, I think that's a good use case for it. If you have like, you know how the trend right now is putting TVs above fireplaces, but that's like the worst thing in the world. Maybe instead of doing that, you like put the TV on like the sliding glass door, and then the TV is just the center of the room, but you're also looking outside and you can watch TV and all that stuff. I don't know. I think there's use cases to build this into things, but not as like a standalone, like, I'm going to mount this on my wall.
I have like, in one of my rooms, I have like 120-inch window. That would be awesome if it was a TV.
Right? Wouldn't that be cool?
That's my kitchen. I'd just be sitting there eating and watching TV, and yet you could still see outside when it's off. That would be really cool.
And I think this one has like a screen that you can turn on basically behind it that kind of tints it or gives it a backdrop. And so that way it doesn't have to be fully transparent.
Yeah, it can go back to being a normal TV. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
But you could use that for like daylight or something. I don't know.
Yeah, just think of the ads they can serve you on this transparent TV.
Yeah.
You just ruined the fantasy. Yeah, it's over. Done.
That's what they're going to do. That's what they're going to do.
Everything.
Well, that's what they're doing with all the AI stuff anyway. Like, that's definitely data harvesting for the TV companies. So they're rushing to put AI on stuff because they know that they can get the info off of it.
Yeah. When they announced this, this is in the story too that we'll post on our show notes, but they announced this, they got on the stage and they said, this is the first OLED, transparent OLED wireless TV. And so like the video and audio are actually plugged into another box somewhere. And then of course the TV is plugged in, I guess, but then it's wireless. It has so you can stream everything wirelessly. It's got the wireless HDMI connection and stream it on over to your transparent OLED TV. It's got down-firing speakers and that backlight that can turn on and off or whatever. So I don't know. I think it's a gimmick. I think it's great for retail. I think it's good for that kind of thing. But if you ever see one of these in actual real life,
I don't think I'm going to see it in many houses, if any.
I mean, you probably will, but
it's going to be mainly commercial. And that's what I think the strong suit is.
Yeah.
So imagine if you just like walk by a store and like the whole display or the whole, front display lights up and shows you an ad or tells you about a sale going on or something like that. I mean, that seems like the perfect use case.
They have those. I mean, they've had those for years. With the LCDs, you could do the same thing. You just had to take the backing off and the light would, it still worked the same way. So I don't know. I just don't see anything special with it. The OLED thing is a kind of another angle, and it's the fact that it's like 4K and kind of a new TV. It does look nice. I'll give them that, but it doesn't. It just look.
It's shiny and new, Seth. Just take it.
It's just a gimmick. It's just a gimmick. All right. Anyway, you know what's not a gimmick? Are these Roku TVs that are going to be spying on you.
3D TVs.
Yeah.
Oh wait, never mind.
So Roku, interesting enough, came out with they're coming out with their own QLED, QLED, and mini LED TV lineups. They've got a 55, a 65, and a 75 inch. They're calling these like Roku Pro series. They're kind of more premium, so they have retail prices under $1,500, but we haven't seen a Roku TV. Like when I say Roku TV, I think of like, what is that brand? TCL, right? Or
Hisense.
Yeah. But this is like a actual TV, probably made by TCL or Hisense with Roku branding on it. And probably, costs a little bit more. Roku's making a little bit more money on it or something like that. So I don't know. Seems kind of interesting. Maybe the little processor inside is a little bit faster.
Oh my gosh, hopefully, because the Roku TV, I like the software. I mean, it makes sense. It works just like the regular Roku, but I feel like every Roku TV I've ever used is so much slower than like a $50 Roku stick.
Yeah.
And it's like, I know your TVs cost like pennies, but why is this $50 Roku stick so much faster?
Yep.
So usually I plug a Roku into my Roku, and that's how you use it.
Exactly. The little sticks, I like even the $35 stick. Like I know it's not the premium one, but it works really well. Like it,
yeah, so good.
Not the most performant thing, but I don't care. Like it's just a $35 thing. So anyway, let's move on to audio and stuff. Samsung likes their frame TVs. You like Samsung frame TVs. Well, they have come out with a frame speaker. It's a 12.9 by 12.9 inch frame speaker called the Music Frame, I guess. And it looks just like the Sonos IKEA Symphonist frame thing, but it's a little bit smaller, I guess, because I think that one's more rectangular in shape.
Yeah, I feel like the IKEA one's pretty large.
Yeah.
12.9 by 12.9. I mean, that's pretty good size still, but pretty small in general.
Yep. It has two woofers, two tweeters, two mid-range drivers, offers connectivity over Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, and also offers surround sound capabilities when paired to Samsung TVs. So I think TVs and soundbar. So that could be actually pretty good for some people who just want to actually hide their TV speakers away, and maybe they would just want to use that instead of wiring things around. Not bad.
Yeah, I thought about doing this for the surrounds in my family room. My family room's kind of laid out weird, so we're basically staring at the corner where the TV's at. And so putting up surround sound speakers kind of have to go in weird spots. And the IKEA Symphonist speakers were really appealing. But by the time I added them up, they were like, $600 or $700 by the time you do the custom picture and everything. So I decided to go with the Era 100s for now. But this is kind of appealing. I like the hiding of technology.
Yep. I do too. Well, also at CES this week in audio news, I guess. I don't know, it's kind of audio and video news. Amazon announced Matter casting support. It's coming to its Prime Video app, so you can cast content over to Amazon hardware devices. This feature is now available for the Echo Show 15, which is the biggest smart display, and it's also a Fire TV. And Amazon said support will be coming soon to Fire TVs, including smart TVs from Panasonic with Fire TV built in. So this is kind of nice. It's not AirPlay, it's not Google Cast, it's Matter casting. And I guess that matters, right? I guess this is what matters this week. This is actually the Matter story. I had heard about this because it kind of went hand in hand with the Matter stuff that was going on, but I didn't pay it any mind. I didn't really think, like, Apple had AirPlay and they were talking about this Matter casting. I think the article I read said something like there were going to be bits and pieces of like AirPlay, and like that's what the whole Matter thing is. Like the good parts out of these other things, other protocols or other standards that exist within these companies should be grouped together and put into something called Matter casting. I didn't really think anybody would do it, but here we are, Amazon. It's like, nah, we're not doing AirPlay. We're not doing Google. Let's do the Matter thing. And so good for them. I like this.
I like that too, because it's an open standard now. What it does take though is, Apple, integrated into their devices, I would hope that Sonos at some point may pick it up so you can Mattercast to them. But, if you're not going to get all that, then is it really going to be worth it?
Yeah. If it just stays on Amazon and nobody else supports it, you're right. But I think this may have some legs to it, because I want to say that the article I read, this was probably a year ago, when the Matter casting thing was first being talked about. I want to say that it was kind of like it was an Apple thing. Like they were just like, yeah, we want to get rid of this, what are they called? AirPlay thing and do this Matter casting thing. And there are some limitations to AirPlay that I don't like. So and then Google Cast and has some great features that I would like to see brought over to AirPlay. So if this is like the best features of these protocols all kind of like grouped together, and and it's not free, but like an open source, open standard that anybody can use, that would be great, right?
And what I hope from something like this is that, AirPlay's been around a while, Google Chromecast has been around for a while. If they're going to be doing that, they should see at this point what's working, what doesn't work, and be able to give you something that now is like better than everything else out there. That's what I hope comes out of this.
Yeah. And just like a lot of other things, like even if Apple were to introduce this, they wouldn't get rid of AirPlay. They would still have AirPlay. They would just have this work, with it as well. So you would just go to the screen like you normally do, and it would just show up, might show a different symbol or something, but they're pretty good about making that seamless at least.
Well, kind of in the same realm of this and kind of in announcements and things, working together. One of the things that came out of CES News this week was that the Thread group was going to be fixing this Thread border routers issue. They updated something in the Thread specification that is basically going to give that issue with like devices setting each new Thread device or new Thread network. Each new Thread device setting up its own Thread network. It's all going to be one Thread network, which is the dream, right? That's what we thought was going to happen, because a Thread network is a mesh network, and the more devices or nodes on the network, supposedly the better and more robust it is. And if everything is setting up its own network, it's not. So this is good. This is all good news. There was a bunch of things they announced kind of in line with this. I think this is just the biggest one that we saw.
And yeah, over time, Thread's just gonna get better and better. It has bugs. We know it. We talked about it in our podcast. They know it, and they're working on it. And I'll be honest, I merged my networks this weekend, and my Thread has been so much more stable since.
Interesting.
It's been 2 weeks now, and my devices haven't dropped off. So there's something to this.
Don't worry, everyone. We talked to Matter, and we told them to fix this, and they did. So you are welcome.
We told them.
Yeah.
You're like, this is unacceptable. So here's some new features: credential sharing, more ubiquitous internet connectivity, Thread over the infrastructure, network diagnostics. See, they're putting stuff in this that we tell them to do. Secure commissioning at scale, and numerous additional enhancements to robustness and scalability. So that's awesome.
Matter.
Yeah, thanks, Matter. Thanks, Matter, Thread.
You matter.
You matter. This is Thread, not Matter, but whatever.
Oh, sorry.
Well, Matter will run better over this, right?
I'm going to do that for life, just so we
All right. Moving on here. Here's a little bit of news. This kind of goes along with the layoffs, the massive amount of layoffs. I mean, just about everyone got laid off today across many, many tech companies. But Google announced they were removing a number of, quote, underutilized features from its virtual assistant, Google Assistant. Not really sure. I guess one of the biggest ones that people are talking about is the shopping list feature, which allows you to create and manage a shopping list, which I would think would probably be, I don't know, to me, that would be that's one of the most things that we ever used our Amazon Echo for, was integration with an app called AnyList. We would just yell at it, put butter on the grocery list or whatever, and it would just do it.
They don't just use Google Keep for this, though?
Oh, maybe that's why they're ending this shopping list thing, is like, oh, you got to use Google Keep now.
I mean, that would make sense, right? If it was just tying into Google Keep and just making a Google Keep shopping list. Oh, wait, never mind. It's Google. Sorry.
Well, it's So it says here the feature is now deprecated in favor of using other tools like Google Keep or Google Express. Additionally, the ability to send and receive money using Google Assistant will also be discontinued. So I saw that they had laid off about 100 people, I think, out of the Google Assistant, and maybe that's what some of the things they were working on. So kind of sad to see that, and lose some features. I don't know. What if you don't want a Google Keep? What if you just want a shopping list?
I mean, you already have Google Keep though automatically. So.
Oh yeah, until they discontinue that.
Well, I mean, that's true, but they're only going to discontinue because they don't build it into their products like this, I guess.
Oh man.
Oh yeah, we do have that one app that does that. My bad. Forgot about that.
Whoops. Let's see. Appliance makers over at the Home Connectivity Alliance, they've launched a new energy management interface specification at CES, and helps to make it easier for smart appliance to connect to demand response programs and save everyone money. This is kind of nice. I guess it's a nice feature. I don't live in one of these areas that has the demand response. We're here in Florida. We have I guess really cheap electricity. We also have a lot of people in solar, but I know out west in Arizona where our office is, there are demand times during the day that if you're using electricity, you shouldn't because it's very expensive. But sometimes you have to, I don't know, to use the air conditioner during the summer. So yeah, this is kind of nice if you're in one of those peak times, and your washer or your dryer or something says, it's probably not a good time to cook in here, or your refrigerator doesn't go into a high energy defrost mode or something like that. I don't know. Yeah, that's kind of nice. This is kind of cool.
Yeah, definitely a good idea. I could see where this would just be a good idea in general. We don't have I forget what they actually call that pricing.
Demand pricing or something.
Yeah, something like that. We don't have that in Ohio either, as far as I know, anywhere in Ohio at least. But I mean, there's certain times of the day where it might make more sense to run a certain appliance or charge your car or something like that, just because of the demand on the grid. So it's kind of cool. My recommendation is just don't get your washer and dryer from the energy company, because they'll lock it out like they did smart thermostats. You gotta do some laundry, and it'll be like, I'm sorry, Dave, I'm afraid I can't let you do that.
We actually do have on what they call on demand here, but it's basically a device that shorts out the circuit breaker when they don't want you to use I guess it's hooked up to our water heater and our dryer. So if there was a problem and then we were in peak season or whatever,
like a hurricane or something, and
not a hurricane, if the energy grid couldn't keep up with the demand or something like that, they could turn off people's water heaters or dryers or whatever.
Interesting.
For a little bit of time. And we actually get a little small rebate on that for nothing. I looked at how it hooks up, and it's just this little box that wires in and wirelessly communicates to whatever, and it has two wires coming off of it, and that goes to the two breakers and basically shorts them out when it doesn't want you to run anything. So
they had that up here with Ecobee and our electric company. You got a rebate on your Ecobee, but you had to allow them to install this little app. And, when demand was high, they adjusted the temperature in your house and stuff like that. You could go in and uninstall the app. No one stopped you from doing that. But still, I don't know if I didn't like it, because when it's hot out, I want to be cool.
Yeah.
But when it's hot out, they're like, we want you to be warm. I didn't like it.
You're using too much electricity in here, sir.
We have the time of day pricing up here, but the electrical bill to me is one of my smaller bills up here, right? I could see this being a bigger issue in Europe.
Yeah, it's Europe. Yeah,
right.
Sure.
They seem to have it very hard with the electricity prices up there, so that's where it would be very advantageous to them.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, kind of in the same vein of here of talking about IoT stuff, Acquire announced a new hub called the Hub M3. It functions as a Zigbee 3.0 hub. It's got Thread, Border Router, and Matter controller all built in. It allows users to connect any Matter compatible device to the Acquire app and control and automation. The Hub M3 also includes the IR Blaster, dual band Wi-Fi, Bluetooth connectivity, and 2 power options. Which one is? Say it with me.
PoE.
Oh, that's awesome. I'm loving everything coming with PoE. I would just wish everything came with PoE.
I'm going to need to buy a new Switch soon.
I mean, how much is it? A nickel more for it? Let's make it happen.
It's not very much. I mean, it's a little add-on thing.
It's one PoE, Michael. How much could it cost?
How much could it cost? Yeah. It's not that much, but it's, at the end of the day, I think, what does the hub now cost? I have one sitting over there. I don't even know. It was $50 or something.
It's probably
a cheap hub.
Yeah. Their sensors are $2 nickels, so we can't charge that much for the hub.
All right, let's move on here. This is kind of interesting. Govee, which we all know and love. TJ's got his sleaze lights on his van, right?
Not yet.
Man,
I gotta find somebody to install it because I'm too lazy.
There was a bare wire on the end. He's like, I'm not running that.
I'm gonna be like one of my customers where I'm gonna be like, well, I paid $35 for this. What do you mean you want $200 to install it? Can you install it for $50 and a feather?
It's a pretty feather. All right. We got to talk about this Govee thing. They have this app, right? And so they have basically put a chatbot inside their app that allows you to program your device to do whatever you want it to do, which I think is great because their app is absolutely horrible and not fun to use. So anything to make that kind of thing easier to set up, or maybe not even set up, but like if you had a problem and it can be trained to whatever normal issue or frequent issues are or whatever to help you walk through that kind of thing, or just like help you program in different lighting effects. This is a good idea. It's smart.
Honestly, I think I am interested in these Neon Rope Light 2, which has a weird name, but they're matter compatible LED strips, and they are rope lights, I guess you would call them.
They're like the fluid jelly kind. I don't know. They're like,
yeah. I mean, I like that. I mean, that looks kind of cool. They're matter compatible, so maybe I'll pick those up whenever they first come out. I've been working on the closet in the bedroom a little bit, which I'll get into, but we're thinking about putting some LED lights in there, so maybe these will go in.
They did announce the new AI SyncBox 2, which is nice. I think Govee used to have they had the one that had like the little camera, I think, that would watch your TV. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it looks weird. I have a client with like 3 of them, and I don't know, it just looks weird every time you see one of those.
This one says it has HDMI. See, this is the problem with these little sync boxes. They have to have updated HDMI, and of course that's expensive. And why would they want to have anything expensive on here? But the SyncBox 2, I'm looking for a picture of it to see if it has a camera on it. I don't think it does. I think it loops through. So now it's got HDMI 2.1. You can just loop right through.
Oh, well, that's good.
Yeah, which is how it should be.
And 8K video. I mean, that's good because I have a lot of 8K content right now, and I need 8K colors.
No pricing on it, but it'll probably be, I don't know, not much. $300, yeah.
I mean, the Philips Hue one, I think, is like $400 or something.
Right.
Maybe it's like $200. I don't remember.
So this like takes what's coming off your TV and lets your lights around your TV kind of be color coordinated to it, which is cool. This is great.
$250 for the Hue Play HDMI sync. So maybe like $150 to $200 for the Govee one.
It says the AI sync box can also recognize in-game events such as like victories or like
headshot.
Yeah, item use or damage, and respond with custom created lighting effects for gameplay experience. So
this is like blood splatter. That's cool.
It's set up for the gamers here. It's kind of fun.
Is that? I wonder if it's on device recognition or if it's sending pictures of what you're playing up to the cloud.
Oh,
they're definitely sending pictures to the cloud. So,
gotta get that sweet data to improve the program, obviously.
Yeah, of course. I don't think we talked about that yet.
Quality assurance.
We'll get to that one. All right. Let's see. Where are we? GE has got some new sync under counter cabinet lights. And they are basically RGB lights for, I guess they start at $59. These little fixtures can go under there, and looks like they can do your dimmable warm, right? But it's also got RGB illuminated. So if you want to have one of these Govee inspired game things going on in your kitchen, you can do it there.
If it's not Matter, I don't want it. Get out of here. Can't fool me, GE.
It says they're Matter compatible.
Now you want it?
No, I still don't. My bad.
All right. Well, Eve announced a bunch of new products. This actually happened right before CES. They announced a new Eve Energy Smart Outlet. It starts at $49. An Eve Light Switch should be available second quarter, starting at $49 as well. And an Eve Blinds collection, exclusively available in the Eve store in the US and Germany, starting on February 1st. The energy outlet's kind of cool. It's got little energy monitoring capabilities built into it, so that's nice. And I'm kind of more interested in the blinds. Like, yeah, more blinds. That's what we need. Let's do it.
Yeah, the outlet thing is kind of cool because it's actually a built-in outlet. It's not like a plug-in outlet.
Right.
So that's kind of a nice feature. Those things are typically expensive. Like I thought about putting a couple of the built-in Z-Wave outlets everywhere, and they're like $60.
Yeah.
I was like, I could just buy a Z-Wave plug for like $20. I'm good.
I think Connect Sense version was It was under $100. They had a pro version that I used because you can integrate with it. But that was $100.
Yeah, but that's so much more expensive than a $20 plug. So
Yeah. Well, hard
to justify.
$49, but yeah,
It's a cleaner look.
much cleaner.
That's the whole thing.
I agree with that.
And the one thing about this Eve outlet that I like, it looks like both outlets are controllable. Because when I was looking at this, all the Z-Wave ones was only one outlet controllable. I'm not sure the reason behind that, but I'd want both controllable.
Yeah, individually controllable, please.
Friend of the show, Adam Justice, was ahead of his time. That one was also, both were more controllable, and he had a 20 amp version. So I think it's still there. Yeah.
What the heck, Adam? Give me one.
I know, Adam. I need a evaluation version.
Does it tie in with Home Assistant?
Yeah. If not, we'll make it happen.
I just used the pro version, which had an integration with it, like direct control on it. So I don't know. I don't know if they even still sell that one, but all right. Let's see. Let's move on here. Nanoleaf, we talked about them earlier. Now they are announcing that they're going to do multicolor outdoor lighting strings and multicolor permanent outdoor lights. So we've kind of seen these pop up with companies like Govee in the past. Nanoleaf's jumping into the outdoor lighting game, which is good, I guess.
Will they get released?
Who knows?
I've seen a bunch of these pop up, like over the holidays, of course.
But outdoor lights.
Yeah, I saw a lot of the Govee versions, or what you see here in the Nanoleaf picture, where it was kind of the under eave, like shine down and kind of thing. And they look okay. I'm not a big fan of that little how it washes those individual lights like that. And the way the companies have to do these and set them up is, it can be difficult to do custom runs and custom links. So if you have these pitches that they have here on their roofs, which we don't have in Florida, so it's not a problem for me, but for homes that look normal like this one, you would have to have separate strings and these jumper cables. And even Govee was, you can go to their forums and they talk about you guys really need to come out with these jumpers that do this, this, and this. And Govee is just silent. They just don't say anything about it because you can't do it that way. It's not how it works. There's power. And when power gets involved, there's real things, voltage drops and things you have to
stop it.
Yeah.
It's easy.
You can't just add a bunch of cables.
Stop overcomplicating it, Seth.
Yeah, come on. It's just electricity.
Yeah, it's just electricity.
All you need is one outlet and a 10-way splitter, and you're good.
That's right. That's how it worked before.
Never failed me in the past,
What is this IoT junk? Never works.
My electrical tape is still holding those lights together. Yeah, I've been, for some reason, I've been getting pop-ups for a Govee Facebook group that I'm not part of, but I keep getting post notifications on it. And people are coming up with all kinds of cool 3D printed mounts and stuff for their outdoor lights. So that is kind of cool to watch that for no reason on my own, honestly. I've never looked into Govee on Facebook, but...
Well, they're watching you. Maybe they're...
I guess so. They're like, hey, have you got those lights installed on your car yet?
Yeah. We know you like Govee. You're one of the 5 super fans that have bought these lights.
We heard you got our lights.
I'd imagine that half of them are an impulse purchase like mine because they were $35. But yeah, I'll put that on my car. 100%.
Too good. All right, let's move on to some quick locks and security. Oh my gosh, Lockly is they've got a new thing called the Lockly Visage.
This image is not fun looking. It's scary.
It looks at your face and unlocks the door. So it's kind of I guess the what is it called on the phones? The Face ID for your door. Okay. $349. Smart lock facial recognition.
It's called Door ID.
Stares at you, opens up your door.
I wonder how good the battery life on this actually is, in real life, right? Because my Z-Wave door lock is not that battery hungry, but I feel like I'm not even going to make it a year on 4 AA batteries. So what is this thing going to do?
It'll unlock your door when you get within 2.5 feet. It should do it
3-month battery life.
It should do it within 1.5 seconds. I'm just thinking of all the people that walk up to your door during the day and knock on the door or drop off an Amazon or postal service package, and this thing's nope, not you.
Halloween time, somebody's gonna have one, and they're gonna put one of those witch statues on their porch or something, and this thing's gonna keep auto recognizing it.
It'll look like one of those computers that people have in where they tape over the cameras on the top.
It'll have like a timeout thing. If it reads the wrong face 20 times, it just locks you out of your house for 20 minutes.
It's not a very good looking one either.
No, none of their locks are good looking.
Okay.
You should just look at their website because they all look like this.
All right. Well, then we'll move on. UTech, another smart lock manufacturer, has announced the first deadbolt smart lock with matter over thread support. Here we go. If you want, yeah. And now it should be a little bit better. This one is $299. Should be able to bridge everything over into Apple Home, Amazon Alexa, Google Home, Smart Things, and more. Doesn't look that great, but it doesn't look as bad as Lockly. Like this is more to like the deadbolt design, which is okay.
And it has physical buttons, which are always good.
Beep, beep, beep. And a little fingerprint reader too.
Yeah, I mean, this isn't bad, but I feel like this one definitely is more attractive than the other one, but I don't know if I would still put this on my front door. But I don't know if I can say it's worse.
You can get this one with HomeKey too, so that makes it a little more attractive.
All right.
Did you see the Aquara U300?
I did see that.
Yes.
Now that one,
pretty nice.
That one was nice, and it had, I think, more finishes on it as well. I saw
two
the
finishes now with 100% more finishes.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on that one. It was has a extended battery of up to 8 months, enhanced lock control. They weren't really saying much about what it was providing. It's the U300. Now I have the U100. And it's okay. And it's got all of like the Apple Home Key and all that stuff. But in Jimmy's video, he asked him, it's like, is it going to have Home Key? And then the guy was like, I can't really say. So I don't really know what's going on with that, but I don't know. There's a new, keep an eye out for that because there's a new U300 and it actually looks decent. It's not as square as mine is. So it's like rounded off. I'll put a link to a picture of it and you guys can check it out. Let's see, what else we got? TP-Link has a new video door lock that unlocks with the tap of your phone. It's called the Tapo DL130, unveiled there at CES. The lock is HomeKit compatible and supports 7 different unlocking methods, including a fingerprint scanner, built-in keypad, Apple Home Key, or Apple Watch on the phone or watch. What else does it have? It has everything. Like this is one of like everything all thrown in the same bucket as the Aquara one, and good for them. It's got a Wi-Fi RGB IC light strip. This is great. Oh, no, wait. That's something else. Sorry.
That would be funny. It just comes with a wireless LED strip, so it just lights up whenever somebody rings the doorbell.
Yeah, there we go.
Genius. All right, TP-Link, you're welcome.
Tell Govey, they'll be on it.
I do kind of like this has a bell button built into it. It kind of just makes it all an all-in-one device. The thing I don't understand, and I've seen this on a couple smart locks, is the back part where like the thumb turn is. Mm-hmm. It has like 2 unlock positions and then like a locked position, or maybe reverse of what I just said. But like most locks don't have like any kind of symbol to tell you. You just, you use the lock and that's how you find out. So I feel like that's a weird trend for some reason. I've been seeing that on more and more smart locks.
Is there like a standard way, Mr. Lockman? Is there a standard way that you're supposed to put this on the door? Because I supposedly reversed mine, and it used to go like in, I guess, what was it?
Horizontal.
It goes, well, yeah, and now it goes. It used to go vertical, and now it goes horizontal when it's locked. I thought...
Well, there's not like a right way to do it, but I prefer the horizontal way when it's locked, because then you just look at it, and that's the way the bolt goes, so...
Yeah.
Really? I prefer the vertical way. I always think about it as someone standing there stopping you from going through.
Oh, so you're a serial killer.
When it's on the side and somebody laying down, I'm stepping over them to get by.
No, and I think it's like, I don't know, to me, it's the natural flow of things too, because naturally you're probably turning the thumb turn right to lock the door. Yeah. And so, I don't know, it's just one of those things for me that makes sense. But
like mine vertical, it really just messes the whole thing up. It's like just set them like diagonal rather. Let's put them that way.
And I think most people would expect it when you lock it, it goes horizontal. So
this is a whole debate. I think this is a whole debate now. Which way do you prefer your lock?
It's kind of like if you walked into a room and you flip the decor light switch and you flip the light switch up and the light turned off, you would be like, stop. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
But which way do you prefer it? I think it's personal preference. Sometimes I go in people's houses and I reverse their toilet paper on purpose.
I was gonna say, it's like toilet paper. So
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I messed it up, and then like it got a few complaints, and then like I don't know, a couple months have gone by and I've not touched it. So it's like, well, that's just the way it is. Yeah, it's like,
eventually you're gonna change it. It's gonna make people mad. They're gonna be like, what the heck?
Yeah. All right. Well, this story that we'll link to about TP's new video door lock is cool and all, but at the bottom it has probably one of the devices that TJ and I are just gonna snap up.
Insta buy.
Yeah, this is kind of cool actually. It's called the Tapo H500 Smart Home Base, and it's basically the brains of the cameras. It's a little NVR, I guess, and I say
it
little.
Supports OnVIF.
Well, yeah, okay,
so
that's the big
it's
one.
not just like regular, like their stupid Wi-Fi cameras, which they have, and they work fine. I have one of them at my house, but it works with OnVif cameras, so you can use like normal people cameras.
Normal people cameras, exactly. But it only has 16 gigabytes of internal storage, so that's going to go in like 5 minutes. You're going to have everything kind of lined up there. But
that's what the AI is for.
You can, AI. You can expand.
Save me storage. AI. Download me more RAM.
You can expand it up to 16 terabytes using an external hard drive or SSD.
That's a big difference.
Yeah, that's huge.
16
That's huge.
gigabytes.
Well, and that's crazy, right? Because like a lot of DIY products like this, most of the time they don't support anywhere near that. But TP-Link's like 16 terabytes, heck yeah, go at it.
No problem. Yeah, it also says that the company uses AI to recognize humans, pets, vehicles, and packages through any Tapo cameras that are connected to it. So I wonder if you don't get the AI stuff on your OnVif cameras, you only get it on the Tapos.
That's what I'm interested to see, because I know it's possible to do it. I mean, we have obviously Gavin and I kind of doing that with Blue Iris and whatever else. So it's possible to do that in some capacity. So hopefully they don't limit that.
But OnVif also supports like
events.
triggering too, right? So you can use on-camera sensors, and then it just sends the signal that, you know, a person tripped this camera or something like that.
That depends if that Tapo device actually supports those
implements it,
particular events. Yeah,
because my cameras support OnVif, but they don't support all the OnVif features that they should, which is really annoying.
No, I think this is a cool product, and I feel like this will get a good reaction from a lot of people, because if you've listened to the podcast in the past couple of months, you know that there's not like a good DIY camera system out there. So I mean, like this, if this comes out and it actually works, this would probably be about the only solution that most people could use if they were in a situation like us.
I'm really curious about the screen though. Like,
yeah, isn't that cool too?
Is that a screen that comes with it, or are they just showing like an iPad? Or
I feel like it's going to be additional. 100% going to be additional.
If you look at the picture of it, it's got a little shelf thing on it, like a little iPad stand, and you just put like an iPad or an Android tablet in it, and that's gonna like that basically. So that's what I like about this. It's not trying to be like the Google Hub or the Amazon the Amazon Echo Show with the screen on it. Like they're like, nah, we don't need a screen. We'll give you an NVR, and we'll give you a stand, and you can put whatever tablet you want on it. And when the thing goes bad, you can just, you know, swap out the tablet or do whatever. Like that can just be where the tablet lives.
Yeah, if it's an NVR, you don't need a screen. Most of our NVRs probably don't have a screen. We just access it remotely with whatever app or device we have. And some people will plug in a screen at the NVR, but
yeah, but this is a dual purpose though, because this is a smart home hub, which I think is also interesting. I mean, it supports up to 16 cameras and 64 sensors. So I mean, it's not going to be for the larger smart homes, but you know, I'm thinking like the condos and townhomes and stuff like that, where you know I've done a lot of condos where the builder installs IP cameras and stuff like that. But you know, somebody moves in, they don't want to use the NVR that comes with it or something, so they could use this and have a start of a smart home. And I'm assuming on price, this is going to be like in the $200 range. I don't think they're going to charge a ton for this, but we'll find out when it actually comes out.
Definitely looks interesting. 16 camera NVR, 64 sensors / smart home products. So I guess you could use, like, they have pictures of their smart vacuums and RGB tape lights that we were talking about earlier attached to it. Not just the cameras and stuff. So door locks, all that good stuff.
I find they overkill you with the number of cameras and they underkill you with the number of devices you can connect to it. You know, like 16 cameras is probably way too many for anybody, right?
Yeah, I don't know that many people with that many cameras.
Exactly. I'm not even, well, I'm at 11, but still.
Yeah, I think I have 9 now. And my house is only like 1050 square feet, so pretty small house.
All right. We got to buy some more cameras.
All right.
Camera time.
But I feel like this is going to be a separate tablet that they're going to release, because one of the things at the towards the bottom of the page, it says paired with pad to view everything. So either they've just put a placeholder here to eventually release a tablet or something, but they're being kind of vague.
It doesn't make any sense.
Oh, 100% makes sense to sell a tablet with this.
Nobody wants your crummy smart home tablet.
It'd be the world's first Matter tablet.
Yeah.
Whatever. You can still use an iPad. It's not like if you set the iPad down, the smart home base is going to be like, get out of here. Sorry. Your cameras are bricked.
Shutting off all your power. Yeah, I don't know. I think it's just an iPad stand. You can put whatever tablet you in there.
I'm buying it. But I don't care what the tablet thing is. I'm not going to use it. This is my new smart home hub. I'm getting rid of Home Assistant.
It's got Matter and
wow. How do I mute this guy?
Just kidding. I've got more Z-Wave devices than this thing supports.
It's called sunk cost fallacy. As soon as you get so in deep, you can't get out. That's just how they get you. All right, let's move on here to the robot section of CES. Which always strange things. But LG is introducing a new little robot called the Chloe Home.
This thing is creepy looking.
Yeah, it's really weird. It aims to monitor your home. It runs around and watches your pets and projects things on walls. And I don't know. It's got a 5 megapixel camera, various sensors, allows it to detect and respond to different situations. The robot can wander around and monitor for intruders, check on your pets, and perform tasks like adjusting the temperature or turning off lights. I don't know. This seems like one of those vaporware things, even though it's from LG. Like, I don't know. It's weird looking.
It's like having your own little snitch.
That's what I was thinking. Like, that's what I would watch your child or something and be like, hey, you need to get back in bed.
Yeah, hey, your child has left the bed.
Just follows your child around everywhere. Hey, if my child gets out of bed, you need to follow it around, right?
Yeah, here's a battery for your work.
Call it the LG snitch.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little weird. I don't like the design of it. I mean, I guess they're probably going for like legs or something, but you just have to look at a picture of this if you listen to the show because I can't describe it.
It has a creepy look. Like if that was looking at me, I'd feel like, what?
I almost want to drop kick it, but
yeah.
If that thing rolled at me when I was in somebody's house, I would get scared.
Like the picture of the child is like awkward.
Yeah, well, yeah. I don't know. I saw a bunch of different robots. LG had one. There was another one that was like a mannequin of a person, and you could go up and have a conversation with it. Like, so you know how you can talk to ChatGPT? I guess they had that hooked up, and it had this woman's voice coming out of it, and you could ask it questions. It would kind of like turn and like look around in the area. And then when you got done with your question, it would like look directly at you. So they had programmed a bunch of like the movements to be kind of interesting, but like, I don't know. It was creepy. Things are creepy at CES all the time. So
was that like the standing like cat one?
No,
did you see that one.
The fox thing.
Yeah, the fox one. That was creepy.
That was creepy as well. I'll try and find a video of the robot lady that you could talk to. Well, here's a robot that does matter. I guess it might matter. Let's see. I
video
say it matters because it's actually something that people will buy. Yeah, it does. It does. It might. The Roborock is unveiled its flagship robot vacuum mop here. So it's called the S8 Max V Ultra because maybe they couldn't have more confusing model names. Let's see. This one, it's got 10,000 PA of suction power.
Holy cow.
Support for Matter. And a camera for AI-powered obstacle avoidance and video calling.
Video calling? What? I'm sorry, what's the video calling for? Are people trying to Zoom from this thing?
I mean, if you need to have a meeting and it's important, you just
follow me around while I Zoom.
Yeah, you got to clean your house. You're having a party tonight. This thing is $1,600.
$1,800.
18? Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, $1,800.
It's even more expensive.
There's another modern. There's $300 less. You don't get the video calling. So,
oh wow.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you need the video calling.
No,
gotta go all in.
Cheap people.
It probably calls you when it gets stuck.
Help!
This is where I am. Look,
I can't tell where that's at. Are you under a chair or something?
You'll see it coming to your lawnmower soon, right? Like when they're stuck. I'm in this part of your yard.
The lawnmower one makes sense though, because if somebody picks it up, it could like start a video call and be like, "Look at the perpetrator."
Help!
Yeah, that's really good. I don't know a ton about robot vacuums. I've only started doing a little bit of research, but the ones I've been seeing are like 6,000 and 7,000 PAs. So
Pascals.
Sounds pretty strong.
Pascals.
That sounds wrong. I'm not going to trust you on that one. That sounds made up.
It's a SI unit. So yeah, it's like meters and centimeters. No, we don't use that here. We'll just call it PA. Oh man. All right. Cool stuff there. Car tech, Tesla is teaming up with Samsung Smart Things. I think this is pretty cool. Like smart home, the car is kind of like the smart home. Like when you get home, it's nice to know that you got home. Like we have all sorts of like geofencing and stuff. Like what if your car just said, hey, you got the route programmed to come home? Like it knows exactly how long it's going to take. It's got the traffic stuff built into it. Tell it like, hey, you're going to get home at this particular time. Like build the car into the smart home. This is a good, this is good. I like it. Keep doing stuff like this.
Mazda needs to take notice, instead of removing access through the smart home stuff, you need to embrace it and just add it.
Get in there.
Come on.
All right. And now we're finally to P-Tech, which is, every year there's something at CES that you can pee in or pee on or whatever. But Kohler is introducing the Pure Wash E930 voice controlled bidet. Yes, a voice controlled bidet. Because you're just like sitting on the thing on this $2,200 toilet. And you're like, hey, give me a little squirt, Alexa. And she does it for you.
Hey, squirt.
I don't think my wife is going to like me asking another woman to squirt me.
And we're done.
Oh, man.
I'll have to ask her when we get off the show, but I don't think that's going to fly, guys.
Oh, man. Yeah. This is, and I guess this is just the seat. So I guess you can apply this to any toilet, I guess. It's one of those.
Maybe I'm new to the bidet world, but I don't understand why you want it to be voice controlled. Aren't you already there? Do you just not want to touch it?
I don't know.
I'm confused. It's like the toaster, or the microwave that's voice controlled. It's like you're already there pressing the button, aren't you?
Bidets have weird thing. Like some of them just have remotes, and it's like, why do you have a remote? You're a bidet.
So you can set the temperature.
Yeah, you gotta
want
heat it
warm,
up,
you want cold.
Vibrations. You gotta help get it out of there.
The fan.
It's an IR remote.
AC mode.
I don't get it.
IR. I mean, it should at least be RF. I don't want to have to point at my butt.
Now I got to run power to my toilet.
Oh yeah.
I'm not doing a service call for that.
Needs an auto unplug feature.
Oh, that's a good idea. Like a little turbine down there or something just turns on and activates.
Yeah.
That IR bug fell off again. Oh man.
It's only adjustable while you're on it.
It can monitor how often you use the toilet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Yeah. When
see
you're
that
done,
for
it
a while,
auto
people.
flushes. Remember we were talking about the flush bot?
I guess I get it. Like if you don't want to touch anything, you're just going in there and you're like, hey, open the lid,
God,
Hey Alexa, open the lid up. And in like 10 seconds, it's like, oh, there it is. The lid's up and I can go to the bathroom.
I could just imagine how annoying that would be, though, because voice control for me works like 75% of the time. So I just imagine like me being in there in the morning and be like, flush, just flush. Why won't you flush?
Or it thinks it heard you say something and you're not
It
sitting on
sprays
it
you or
and it
something.
squirts you.
It's squirting out. There's water all over the wall.
Oh, man. Why is the bathroom soaking wet? What? Yeah, I don't know. Like, it's one of those things that I guess it's like it's bound to happen, right? But does it add any value? I don't know.
I don't know either.
I feel like no.
$2,200 for a toilet seat. I don't know.
Is
Like
it
the
just the seat?
Yeah, I think so. I think it's just
Yeah, that way you can retrofit it.
Yeah.
It's not even the whole
That way you don't have to
toilet?
spend $10,000 on the smart toilet.
Yeah. You don't want to buy the whole toilet if you just need part of it. So yeah, there was also an $11,500 toilet called the Kohler Numi 2.0 Smart Toilet. It's got lights. It's got the RGB. Like this is the gamer toilet. Like it's got the RGB under toilet and everything. It's got a remote on the wall that doesn't look like a remote. It looks like a weird little like dial thing. It's kind of interesting.
I can't tell. Is that the lighting or is that blood in my stool?
It's got voice control, all the good stuff, RGB lighting. There you go.
It's not cheap either. For this price, it better squirt so well I don't have to wipe.
10 grand. Oh man, it's gonna sit back. You're not even gonna know you're being squirted on. It's
you
just
can tie it in a Home Assistant, so if you fart too many times, it like changes to a certain color.
It'll turn on the fan to air it out,
It makes an announcement over the house like, don't come
Evacuate,
near the bathroom.
evacuate.
There's air quality monitor to let you know when it's safe to go in.
Well, there you go. That's CES in a nutshell. Everything we saw was cool.
That product is perfect to lead off on.
Yeah, there we go. We do have a couple of home tech headlines that we did discuss last week. I don't think we're going to really jump into any of these this week. Kind of dedicate everything to the home tech headline stuff. We'll kind of like in passing mention one of the bigger things we talked about was how your smart TV knows what you're watching. We'll put a link to this story in the show notes, but I guess most of these TVs out there are using technology called ACR, which is automatic content recognition. And this story goes on to say that it identifies and captures 7,200 images per hour. That's 2 images every second off your TV, and processes those, uploads them, and advertisers get to spend an estimated $18.6 billion on sending smart TV ads back to you there in 2022. And one of the big bullet points here is they go through and tell you how to turn these off. It takes like 10 to 37 clicks on your TV to turn some of these features off. And LG doesn't even offer a way for you to opt out. So that nice new OLED transparent TV thing you're going to get, no, there's no way to opt out. They're going to take pictures of it, and they're going to see what you're watching, send it on back. So we'll put a link to this in the show notes. We talked about this extensively last week in our great show that you'll never hear. But
best one ever.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get into that. All the links and topics we discussed tonight can be found over in our show notes over at HomeTech.fm/465, the lost episode. In our mailbag, we do have some mailbag in here. We do want to talk about this because this is, you guys are nice enough to write in, so we may as well. But this is some of this stuff is old, and it does go back to a conversation we were having about Google going in and messing up an install, fiber install, where they were basically doing what's called micro trenching, and they were digging these 2-inch trenches in roads to put down their fiber and then like covering it in goop. And Greg, friend of the show, Greg writes in, he says, as a DOT employee who deals with road condition and project planning, I can confirm that yes, slicing a 2-inch trench, he puts that in quotes, into a road to lay fiber is an insane idea for several reasons. Goes on to say, every time you cut in the road surface, you're introducing a path for water to permeate the surface. That goes on to mess things up. The epoxy can pop out and make things worse to like actually repair that kind of thing if you have the repair equipment. The road will be weaker due to the brake and the surface tension of the weight of cars driving over it, and can turn that part of the road into gravel. And as Gavin said, Gavin's right, of course, every time you go over it with the simplest replacement, what they call mill and fill, which is where they grind it down. They typically mill down 3 inches. And you're going to hit those fiber lines at that point. They may sometimes need to go deeper, though. They may need to go down to 4 inches because, they want the roads to be flat and nice to drive on, not trenched for fiber. This is just crazy. This whole story just keeps getting better. Gavin is also correct again.
What was that?
Gavin is also correct about the snowplows. I guess, I have no experience with them. So there you go. and the solution would not have fixed anything. I guess digging deeper, making the trenches deeper would not have fixed anything. And the above problems would have been the same. So thanks, Greg, for the feedback there. This is just one of the craziest stories we heard, and it's wild. What was that? St. Louis, I think, that had that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just crazy, or Louisville, or something like that. I think it was Louisville.
Yeah, Louisville. That's what it was. Pretty crazy. I feel like we all kind of knew that, though. If you've ever dealt with cabling before, it seems like a bad idea. I don't run Google's fiber division, but I feel like anybody could have told them that. So.
Yep. That's probably why they bailed. Like, see you later. We're not fixing this.
That is why you don't pay the lowest costing people. So
yeah, it's a cheap contract. What else is? All right, I got a listener feedback here from Steven. It says you guys were pining for a smart home remote and mentioned the Flirk remote. Sorry, not Flick. It's the one I got here. You wanted to suggest we check out a remote by. Called the Remote 2 by Unfolded Circle. And I think we talked about this one in the past. It was like an open source project. It wasn't doing anything for a while, but he says it fits in between the $40 Flirk remote and the $1,500 Ava remote, right around $500. He says, unfortunately, it's not a thing you can just go out and buy on Amazon and ship the next day, but it's available for reservation. So yeah, you can go onto their website and quote, buy it and reserve it. Whenever they get done making the next batch, they'll send you one, I guess. He includes some links we'll put in the show notes to some YouTube reviews on it. And kind of cool. While I was looking at the YouTube reviews, also on the right-hand side, they were talking about the Sofa Baton X1, which is another option, I guess. And I don't know, it looks kind of cool. It's got like a screen on it and a little hub like a wireless hub. I don't know if this could be like the next Harmony, but it definitely,
It's close,
yeah.
but they haven't released the API. They talk about API, but Unfolded Circle looks really nice. It has all the things.
Well,
but,
for $500.
yeah, but Steven, I'm kind of looking for something between $40 and $300. So if you have another recommendation, that's a wide range. That $1,500 hurts though.
Just open that pocketbook, Gavin. Go ahead.
I'm going to need 5 of these,
That's fine.
but that's if Harmony shuts down their servers. My remotes still work good for now.
Knock on wood. Knock on wood.
Yeah, Unfolded Circle is basically an open source remote. Everything is on GitHub. I think you can even like 3D print parts of it. At least you used to be able to with the version 1 remote. So they definitely have all of the simulator, the APIs, and all that stuff on GitHub where you can go in and send changes in if you're a developer. So it's kind of cool. I do like that. But the X1
That one does look most appealing.
looks a little more appealing to me. So yeah, I might. And no, I'm probably not going to get an X1. Let's go there. No, not another remote. I don't need another remote. Anyway, going on to Don from Arkansas. Hi, Don. He says, I'm surprised that none of you guys have heard of a buck converter. And that's BUCK. I've heard of one. I've soldered many. He says, several times we've mentioned on the show here about sensors and their lousy USB power supplies. And I mentioned that earlier with the USB-C one over here on the everyday sensor or everything sensor. Basically what Don here says to do, he's got a buck converters, and he basically hardwires back to essential 24 volt power supply, takes the buck converter, puts it on there, and it down converts to the 5 volts that the little devices need. It's just a great idea. But the problem is you have to hardwire that wire there for the sensor. But again, I think this is a great idea. So thanks, Don. Definitely appreciate it.
Yeah, no, it's actually, the more I think about it, it does make sense because you could put one of these in on a per room basis. Like I was originally thinking of the whole house going back to one location, but no, even if you split it up a per room basis, then you could have your window sensors, your motion sensors, everything just for that room on one power supply.
Yeah.
Right. And you could put it in a wall using an in-wall media to conceal it and stuff like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. You could even possibly power like your battery powered shades with that kind of thing if you found the right converter. I mean,
lighting.
Well, definitely your light devices. Any sensor that you had that needed a battery changed out, you could find the right. I mean, most of them have 2 AA's or something, or a series of batteries in it that bring you up to a specific voltage. Just find out what voltage it needs to run off of, and then run a wire to it. This is a great idea. Appreciate you sending that in, Don. And we'll put a link to the little buck converters. They're really cool. They've got like wire connectors on one end, and then they've got a USB power output on the other. So 24 volts in, 5 volts out. Makes sense to me. All right, and then we've got a suggestion here from Doug about Frigate NVR for Home Assistant. He says, with local high-speed object detection and mobile notifications, it's got somewhat of a manual setup, but not very bad. And he sent over a little video for us to check out. I think we've talked about Frigate a number of times. When I loaded that one up, it had like a YAML setup. There was like no setup. It was all YAML. And I was like, no, this is not the direction I want to go. Like I'll go back to a
YAML
Blue
camera
Iris
system.
Yeah.
How great!
You guys are just so afraid of that YAML.
No, I just don't want to deal with
touch
it.
it, Gavin. It scares me.
Now that I got a Google Coral, for something else I was playing with, I may take a look at Frigate and see, how it stacks up, because I believe that works with the Google Coral as well.
It does, yeah.
Yeah. And I'll play with it at some point and check it out once I finish my other projects.
I mean, that one supposedly has the best one of the best integrations for Home Assistant into it. So, yeah, we'll keep an eye on it. I think like with the YAML interface, it's just like with Home Assistant. It started off with YAML. It was a pain to set up and everything. But like fast forward 10 years, what they did is like the YAML basically becomes like the basis for putting a GUI over the top of those configuration things. So if you can make the YAML file, you can make a configuration thing that basically makes that YAML file for people.
Camel file.
But that's the camel file. Yeah. But that's the harder thing to do. So most of the time they just stick with you're working on like the NVR side of things. You're not really dealing with the settings. In the settings, you can change a script file and you're done. You can walk away from it. But I think over time, projects like this will get some kind of user input web page type thing to set up, just like Home Assistant did.
Are you telling me I have to wait 10 years till I can use Frigate?
10 years for a new NVR. Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Okay, cool. All right.
You're going to be a Blue Iris for 10 years.
My ring.
Blue Iris for 10 years, what I'm saying. So, and then, pick of the week here. The CES is the pick of the week, of course, but we also have this one here. It's a remote with all the buttons. Someone has been playing with the AI and saying, more buttons, please. I think TJ, you put this in the show notes here, but basically you start off with a picture. You say, hey, generate me a remote. And then you're like, no, I need more buttons. And the thing will generate you a picture of a remote with more buttons. And they just keep going until it's absurd. And it looks like
more.
Yeah, there's buttons on the buttons.
And this is like a theme on Reddit recently, if like the Chat GPT subreddit, is that they'll ask it to do a picture and then they'll just like tell them to make it more crazy.
This one has a prawn button. I don't know what that one is. They misspell things. So I think that was
a prawn.
I was supposed to be it could be for shrimp or it could be porn. I'm not sure.
I want like a shrimp ejector to shoot a shrimp into my mouth.
It says Vold. This is like so weird that like the generation things, like they could generate these pictures that it's like so incredibly complex with like the background being blurred and furniture generated, like just random things. And it's like, but they can't make a label that says power. Like it says hour. It's not a P, it's an hour. Like it is in the wrong. I just don't understand why everything is misspelled in every single AI generated thing. It's so weird.
Come on, robot, get good.
Yeah. Get smarter, robot. Come on. All right. Well, if you have any feedback, comments, questions, picks of the week, or great ideas for a show, give us a shout. The email address is feedback@HomeTech.fm, or you can visit HomeTech.fm/feedback and fill out the online form. A bunch of wrapping up on Home Assistant for the end of the year. There was Year of the Voice, Chapter 5. I guess they closed it out. All good to go. Voice is done. And they're not.
Well, it's not done. It's the year they focused on it. It's done, but it's still going. They're actually holding a live stream next week where they're going to show you how to make your own voice device. Right. So I'm going to join that and see, how easy it is. But yeah, the Year of the Voice, they basically had their final Chapter 5 and they went over what they did this year, all the accomplishments they had, and they showed off some new devices that had a little screen. And it was actually kind of cool because the screen, you could show images on it. So when it's just sitting there idle, they had like the developer just sitting there. And then when you summoned it, then the picture changed to him looking at you. And then when he was executing the command, he was giving the thumbs up. And then he went back to his idle picture, and I found that hilarious. But they live streamed this, well worth the watch. I'm really shocked at what they were able to accomplish, and they still have a long way to go. So it's not over.
Yeah, and this is the ESP32 S-Box 3, which is an expressive product, I guess.
That's always sold out.
Yeah, well, I mean, they make a bunch of them, but it'll be back one day. But yeah, looks pretty cool. It's got a little screen on it. It's a developer tool. Basically, if you're a manufacturer or something, you want to make a little smart display, they give you kind of a little guideline device, I guess, or whatever. But it's perfect. It's got all the parts and pieces needed for exactly this. For a voice assistant, it's got the microphone. It's got a little screen on it. This is great. Good. It's a good find for the Home Assistant crew because the ESP, the Expressive, they make tons of stuff and like they can churn this out. This will be everywhere for Home Assistant people. Anyway, I'm sure there's a new Home Assistant been released now. I don't know which one. I think I'm updated though. I'm pretty good. I'm good. I don't need to update.
You're not
updated last week, so
I updated last week. I'm on at least a January version. I don't know. My graphs are going. I was looking at them the other day. The wind was blowing. Gotta watch the wind blow. Gavin, I know you talked a little bit last week about this Z-Wave issue on the 800 series chips. Did that ever get resolved?
No, it still looks like it may be an issue. But they're working on it. So basically, if you have a Z-Wave 800 series chip and you use Z-Wave JS, every now and then randomly, it can get into a state where it would have issues sending commands to Z-Wave, right? The quick fix is you could just run a quick, what do they call it? Soft reboot on the controller. It takes like a couple seconds and it's back. Everything's back up and running. I know they were trying to build in like almost like a monitoring in Z-Wave.js. So if it detects this, it will just issue a soft reboot to try and get through it. I'm getting hit by it. And they also mentioned that, the manufacturer knows about this issue and is working on a fix for the chips and stuff. So I'm keeping an eye on it. It's kind of annoying because certain things just stop working randomly, and it hits me almost like it would hit me almost once a day, but I actually have a software boot now automated every morning. So it eliminates it for me. And that's all done through an automation. So
there's like the Z-Wave thing linked in the, or the Z-Wave Node Z-Wave JS issues link that's in here. I'm just like navigating through all of the bug reports on this, and then they keep getting closed. Like oh, it's been fixed, and they close it out, and there's like 30 more posts after that. People like, nope, this didn't fix it. So yeah, there's something going on, and they're trying to fix it, and they're like, oh, we resolved it. But it's one of those things that's hard to stamp out, evidently. So hopefully they figure it out. All right. And so Gavin, let's start with you. You got some projects going on. Extreme Z-Wave troubleshooting with Greg. You did some of that.
Oh yeah, that was fun. Greg messaged me in the Slack channel. I gave some free consulting, He messaged me, said his Z-Wave wasn't responding. He also rebooted his hub. Still no issue. My first thought is that there was a bad device somewhere along the chain that was causing this. It was hung up and just not passing the messages along. So I told him, go around and reboot your hardwired devices. And what he did was the most extreme thing. He just went to his power panel, flipped off the whole house, flipped it all back on, and he was like, yep, it's working now.
Genius.
Like, he could have spent hours, trying to find that one device, or he just did it the quick way. I was like, you know what? I got to remember that one.
When in doubt, just reboot it.
Reboot the house. Yeah,
everything. Yeah, the whole house.
But yeah, it just goes to show these Z-Wave devices, if you're having issues, sometimes it just one can lock up. I've seen that with my Zeus power switch power strip where it locked up on me like twice for some random reason. All I did was just unplug it and plug it back in, and I was back in business.
It's always the fix, I guess. That's just that's a fun way to do it.
Yeah, I just had to laugh when he told me that. He's like, yeah, I just rebooted the house and I'm back in business. And I was like, well, I guess I was right.
It's too good.
Another thing I was working on, we had a lot of projects. Like TJ gave me this one project. I was cleaning up behind the TV, the wires, my HTPC, et cetera. And he says, oh, just put in a media box, So I was like, all right, great. Cut a hole in the wall, put in a media box. Made a huge mess in the bedroom sat there for a while.
You say this like it's a bad thing. When you were looking at video distribution systems, that would have cost you like $2,000 to $5,000. So,
well, yeah, you saved me some money. I
saved you a lot of money, and I feel like you need to tell Rose that too, because you kind of threw me under the bus with the project thing.
I didn't throw you under the bus.
I don't think she realizes how much money I actually saved her.
Well,
so whenever I come up there, I think you owe me a steak, is what I'm saying.
We started off with, TJ gave me this idea. Let me do this in the back of the TV. It'll make it look clean. And she was like,
TJ gave me this idea, not like, I had this idea to spend all this money.
I was trying to get into the video distribution system. I'm like, geez.
I gave you full credit, but it was like 2 weeks later when she looked at the mess still and she said, next time TJ has a project, tell him to come do it himself.
Well, it's not my fault you're a lazy projector. What are you, Seth?
I do think slowly.
Me too. Don't worry. We'll talk about my slow project.
So yeah, don't give me any more projects, TJ. Oh, I just want to give a shout out to James from Ohio, who was in Canada. Stopped by, dropped me off a Christmas gift of filament for my 3D printer. He had a whole bunch from D3D, I think it is in Ohio. Or i3D in Ohio, and I've been using it up nicely, like just printing everything. TJ even gave me some ideas today of what my next prints, so it's all going to good use. I picked up a filament dryer. I made a filament dry box, so, get the humidity down, and it's really made things so much better. That was his suggestion as well. So really happy about that. He gave me like 6 spools too, different colors, The favorite color is the pink one.
Is this the same guy that posted a photo of my van on Mastodon?
Yeah.
I feel like this is getting a little weird, James. Just following us all around.
He's got 2 out of 3.
He's going to end up down in Sarasota and be like, hey, wait a minute. This looks like Seth's car.
Hey, I could be bought with filament, don't worry.
Yeah, it does get expensive when you're printing all the time, so I don't blame you.
And I just went through a Unify RMA situation. My Unify Dream Machine SE. Dream Machine Pro SE, I don't even know the name of it anymore,
Yeah,
but
the SE one.
It was having an issue where if I rebooted it, it sometimes wouldn't reboot, and I'd have to unplug it for an hour, and then I'd plug it back in, and then finally it would start back up. So
I've heard that's a common thing with those.
Apparently it's a common thing, because when I contacted them, they were like, oh yeah, we'll send you a new one. There was no argument, nothing. It was like, we'll just send you a new one.
Well, Ubiquiti messed up when they do that. They don't drag it on forever.
Exactly. So the following week, the new one arrived. I didn't even have to ship mine first. They were like, no, we'll ship ours first. And I just returned the old one. It couldn't have been easier. I just did backup, a restore, and sent the old one back. And sometimes when you pay for the good stuff, you get the good service. But I think I feel like from you guys, I was the exception.
Yeah, I was going to say, I feel like they listen to the show and they're like, we don't want to be dragged to the mud right now. So.
Or they know this is a known issue and they're like, let's just get this one over.
Well, and I think that's probably what it is, because I've seen that on the Ubiquiti subreddit. That and, what is it, the Cloud Key that uses like the USB flash drive for the storage.
Oh.
Those two are like big issues right now, so.
Well, it's fixed now. I can reboot freely, so I'm good.
Oh, the original cloud. Yeah, the original cloud uses a micro SD, and and
it like died because they used like the cheapest one possible.
Oh yeah.
You fixed it by just putting a new SD card or flash drive in there. I thought it was a flash drive, but
yeah. As long as I didn't have to argue, I'm happy.
Yeah, there you go.
There you go. And finally, I picked up the brand new Zeus Zen 37 wall remote. It's a 4-button remote, 5-button remote.
Z-Wave Pico remote.
Yes. And it's awesome. It's just a battery powered remote. You could do up to 5 clicks per button. Integrates with Home Assistant through Z-Wave. USB-C charger, but you can also replace the battery. It's a rechargeable battery, but it's just one of those coin cell ones. You can replace it with a regular one if you wanted to as well, right? And I just thought it's awesome. A 4-button remote. I use it for my fireplace, and I used to have just a regular 2-button toggle switch for my fireplace, but too hard remembering the double taps, the triple taps. So now I got like an on off button and a flame up and flame down button, and I love this thing. And if you get it custom engraved, it's even better.
How you said there's 5 taps per button? Was it like you can tap it 5 times, tap one button 5 times and have a different reaction?
Scenes. Oh. Yeah. So I could do double tap, triple tap, quadruple tap.
Oh, that's wild.
You'll never remember those, but
and that's the problem. When I had the 2-button paddle switch one, I had the taps, but you never remember all the taps, right?
Did I press the second button 3 times or the 4th one?
Yeah, so that's why I like the 4-button one.
I turned everything off.
You make it like into a combination lock of taps.
But what I do with it is like, because you tap it once, it sends one like flame up, right? But if you tap it like twice, it will send 2 flames. Good idea. And I kind of programmed it like that, right? Or if I 5 tap up, it will do max flame and min flame, that type thing, right? So, but it's an awesome little remote that is just battery powered, and you can put it in I think it's like the Pico remotes where you can just put it into the space in the gang there, or you can do a little add-on, if you just got a bigger plate and it fits in the end one. That's what I did. It's really cool. Highly recommend that one.
How does it attach into the plate?
It's got a little backing thing on it.
Yeah, just like the Pico does, where it has a little saddle
snaps
thing,
in
the strap.
Yeah.
The core
battery.
Well, so it's magnetic.
Yeah,
actually.
magnetic. Yes.
So instead of like the Caseta or the Pico ones, they actually slide in there and slot into it. This one is just magnetic and attaches to the plate.
Yeah, I had one that was magnetic. I'm trying to remember. I think Belkin made it or Wemo made it or something, and it was like right by the door, and it was basically made so you could just like 3M stick it onto the wall. I'm like, oh, this is great. I'm gonna 3M stick it on the wall. No one will ever know. And like one day I bought 2 of them because it was a decent price or something. And one day I walked by and I like knocked it off the wall, and it just no longer worked after that because it's magnetic, and magnets hold things really well this way, but not horse flat against them or whatever. So like it slid right off, and then it broke. And then I had another one, but that one my daughter dropped in the toilet and it doesn't work. So
Those were Belkin ones, right?
yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Well, this is a Zeus.
Yeah, it's a whole different quality.
Yay,
I'm sure.
Zeus.
So.
Yeah. I highly recommend it though, the Zen 37.
And it's pretty cool that you get all the buttons on it and everything. I like that it just has even like a big button, 2 big buttons on top, and then 2 little small buttons on the bottom. You could totally do whatever. Like there's a lot of things you can do with that. So
Yep.
it's good. It's cool. Very cool. All right. Well, I actually did have a couple of projects that I've completed over the long holiday because I had plenty of free time not editing podcasts and stuff. Sorry guys. But I've been working on like these. I've been digging and cleaning out boxes in the garage. I was supposed to clean out the garage, so naturally I just like, well, what's in the boxes that I got to clean out of the garage? And it was like a bunch of RGB tape light and stuff. I'm like, I probably should finish that RGB project and install stuff back into my kitchen that I took out in October last year.
That would be a good idea.
No, not last year, the previous year. So,
oh my gosh.
So it's been a full year that we haven't had under cabinet lightings in our kitchen, and I actually went back and popped. I had all the stuff. I had the Shelly stuff, and I popped a bunch of stuff in to make all that work. So I've got RGB lighting under my cabinets, which is awesome. I can have those Govee parties in there if I want. And then I was kind of, because naturally I didn't actually finish cleaning the garage because that's a whole new project. It's going to take another year or 2. But I was like, well, I should probably find a neat little controller beside these Shellys to do things. And I found this Athom, I don't know, Athom controller. It's really cool. I had an RGB IC, so that's the independently controlled LED, plus a white LED strip. I don't know where I got this from. I think I bought it from Costco right when we moved in the house like 6 years ago. And it's been like underneath a bar, basically, like downlighting underneath the bar, just kind of like backlight underneath the bar that you can sit at. I was like, well, I'd like to be able to control this, sometime, because what you have to do is like go into a different room and like you aim an IR remote at the little sensor and flick it and then run back. And then you run back into the room and like, it didn't work. I got to press it again. It was over and over. And I tried to enlist my daughter I'd be like, all right, tell me if it turns on. And I'd be like, did it turn on? No. And then I'd press it before I'd be able to press it again. She'd like, yes, it turned on. So she's a very unreliable narrator in that respect. What color is it? I think it's a blue. So to go look at it and it'd be like pink or green. Come on. So like, this is much better. It's got this WLED software built onto it, which is like open source, and it's got a button on it. I can just go over to the thing and I can press this button and it turns on the light, and I can press it again, it turns it off. And that's great. So now I have that put in, and I also, not only did I do that, I did all my under counters. I did I haven't hooked them up, but I did install them. All of the toe kick lighting in the kitchen. So I had enough lighting strips to do all of that. Just haven't finished hooking up the controllers and keypads. What's really neat with the Shelly stuff is you can see how many watts is on each little device. And there's like, you can see it kind of like creeping up in the kitchen. There's like 50 watts, 50 watts of strip lighting going on in there. So that's what I've been up to. I'm actually getting projects done and wrapped up. So Gavin, come on. It's 6 years, but I mean, I got it done.
Listen, as long as you got it done, it doesn't matter how long it takes.
No. It's checked off. Well, yeah. I mean, technically not done. I still have to hook up the ones underneath.
But you're celebrating too early then.
I didn't tell anybody I did that.
Yeah, exactly. No, I'm taking all that back. Seth, what's taking you so long?
Yeah, come on, Seth.
I didn't tell anybody I did that one either. So like that was just kind of like I had all the stuff out and I was soldering it all together, and I'm like, because I would cut the links, and some of them you'd have to solder some wires back on. It's like, okay. But I had those, and I measured everything out, soldered them, and stuck them under there. And some of the wires are ready and they're ready to go. Some of them I have to retrofit in around the dishwasher, which is not a big deal. So yeah, it'll be a little bit more time on that, but I'll eventually get to it.
You know, the way I feel when you say solder is the same way you must feel when I say YAML.
Just instant dread.
Like you say solder, and I'm like, oh god, no, forget that. Next project, skip, please skip.
Oh no, that was actually the most enjoyable part of it, because it's just a matter of like getting the little tiny wires to hook up, and it's like I've got all the stuff. It's just it's a pain to kind of like break all that out. So like once I have a bunch of stuff to do, I'll solder it all together, but I don't want to break it out for one wire. So that's why it kind of sat there for so long.
I'd rather do YAML.
Well, TJ, you ran across an interesting product. You've got a new NVR? What's going on here?
Yeah, well, so Gavin and I kind of stumbled across Scripted at the same time. And Scripted is kind of cool. It runs on, Windows PC or Raspberry Pi or whatever it has. And it's a nice little NVR. I haven't really figured it out all the way because I'm kind of lazy when it comes to this stuff. So it seems like it's pretty cool. The only reason I wanted it though is because honestly, at this point, guys, I think I just want to use HomeKit Secure Video. I just want to use HomeKit. I mean, I have.
But that's what Scripted does. So Scripted is like a bridge, right?
For free.
With the NVR.
Well, yeah, so it has a plugin that you can download for HomeKit, and then that exposes it, and so you can get like full HomeKit Secure Video. So you can get like the timeline and everything. So it's not with Home Assistant. You can bring a camera into HomeKit, but you don't get like the timeline and all the motion detection and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Whereas with Scripted, you do.
This is literally a clone. Their interface is a clone of the Unify. Like, so if you've never experienced Unify, this is pretty much it.
And so like it's pretty cool. I'm kind of hoping this Tapo thing comes out so I never have to touch this. But it's there. It looks a lot better. The aesthetics are pretty nice. I feel like Gavin could probably do a better job of explaining the features and why you may choose it. But purely for like a looks thing, it does look a lot better and it functions pretty nicely. It kind of made me think though, like honestly, guys, I think one product I want to see come out, which I don't know if it's possible or not, but basically like a little Ethernet device that goes in between like an ONVIF or RTSP camera, a little like PoE injector. And that little PoE injector would be like this Scripted NVR built into it. And then you would just be able to add a camera to like HomeKit automatically. So if somebody's listening to this podcast and they have that power to do that kind of stuff, you should just go ahead and make this, and I'll buy like 4 of them instantly.
Just 4 of them.
Because that'd be cool just to turn your PoE cameras into HomeKit compatible cameras automatically. That's what I need. Just give me HomeKit Secure Video.
But with HomeKit, you don't get this timeline. You can't go back in time. You have to.
Well, so if you just do like the Home Assistant Home Bridge plugin, then no. But if you do the Scripted NVR, it fakes the HomeKit Secure Video, which gives you the timeline and AI detection and stuff like that.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, the Scripted NVR is just in a plugin that does all the local processing of everything in storage. Yeah,
I would check it out if you're looking for a camera system. And like I said, the main benefit for me is it brings it into HomeKit. But I think there are other benefits there, and I think it has a HomeKit or a Home Assistant integration as well, so you can bring it right into there.
So if you want a nicer looking setup compared to Blue Iris, today everything we compare is to Blue
Literally
Iris.
anything is better than Blue Iris. Like you could drag this software behind your car for a couple miles and it would still look better than Blue Iris.
Yes, that pretty much sums it up. I can't argue against it. Oh.
Blue Iris has gotten beat with a nerd stick, and that's all right, but
that's okay. But it's still not simple. Let me put it that way. There's still a lot to this. And you got to get your head around a number of things to really understand how it all fits together. So it's not the simplest setup until you get to know it, just like anything else. It's not as powerful as Blue Iris. The one thing I could not get working with it was, the GPU integration. I could not get my NVIDIA working with this. And that's very important, especially when it comes down to, analyzing AI and stuff like that, right? Because you got to offload that CPU, right? I ended up buying a Google Coral, and that was easy to implement. Once I got that in, it was using that and offloaded everything. I haven't been able to push the limits of it yet and check out like speeds and stuff. That stuff wasn't as easy to find. Like in Blue Iris, I could just go into Code Project and it tells me how fast it's analyzing all the pictures, right? And it was really easy to tweak and, get things running better, where this wasn't as easy, but it's pretty. Right. And that's the thing about scripted. It integrates nicely with Home Assistant if that's what you're into. It's just not as powerful. There was one thing I was having issues with was getting it to stream my 3D printer camera to like my Octoprint, right? I think I found a way to do it, but the plugin was broken, so I couldn't do it. Whereas with Blue Iris, I could just give a URL and it's a lot more powerful. Again, Blue Iris, more powerful, uglier, scripted.
Been around for like decades.
So,
it definitely has a little bit of head start.
Yeah, I love Scripted's app though. Their iOS app, very beautiful, very easy, very fast. Their AI tweaking is kind of hard to figure out, but it's there.
Well, so basically, I'm waiting for Gavin to figure it out, so that way he can figure it out for me. So
at this point, I kind of gave up on it for Gavin. A little bit. I'm waiting. Well, no, I'm waiting on a plugin to get fixed first. I've been following the GitHub, and then if they fix that, then I will look to implement it again. Right. I do so much more with Blue Iris, but this thing had some cool features where for example, I could actually use the onboard camera motion sensors, and then it would trigger the sensor in Scripted that whenever it detected motion, then Scripted kicks in and analyzes the camera and then determines if a person's there or not. And I found that really cool because it's not constantly analyzing the feed. It only kicks in to analyze the feed when it detects, motion, and your camera could trip that my cameras can trip that based on if it's a person, if there's sound, if it's just general motion, right? Stuff like that. And that way it offloads a lot of processing, right? Because your computer's not constantly analyzing it, right? Only when it's called for it. So I thought that was really cool. It has some really cool features.
Yeah, definitely a cool product.
Well, it definitely looks nice. I mean, the interface is nice. It looks simplified the way I like how the Unify has simplified everything. I mean, and Unify, to their credit, has just a brilliant install. You plug in the camera, and the stupid thing pops up on your app and says, "This is the camera that was just plugged in. Here's a preview of the picture of the camera that was just plugged in. Is this the camera you want to install? Yes, install it. Okay, downloads, updates, puts it in." And then you really don't even have to do anything after that. Like you can tweak some settings. Like they have some very high level settings. Not as many features of anything you've talked about, but like I think it just gets it into the ballpark, and that's good enough for most people. Honestly,
and
most people aren't super users, so.
And Unify owns the hardware, and like they own the camera. So like when you own end to end, it's a much different experience, right?
Well, and unified software is great, but unified hardware sucks. So, and you can only use their cameras with them. Whoever designs their cameras has never installed a camera in their life. I can swear on that.
Their cameras are not the greatest, even for the price. They're not the best quality for anything. I mean, they're definitely making some money on them, but as far as like just turnkey, you don't have to do anything we talked about.
Best ones out.
Definitely the best ones. So
100% the best ones.
Yeah. Like I said, you could just plug it in and it pops up. It's smart. They did a good job with that, to their credit.
Yeah. So we got that going on. Something I've been working on and off for the past several months really is getting all of my energy usage integrated with Home Assistant. And so when we first moved in, I installed the Flume water sensor, and that was working great, or so I thought, until I got my water bill this past couple weeks, and the water usage on the water bill was like 2 times as much as the Flume was estimating for the same time period. And so I was like, that's a little weird. And so through the Flume app, they have like this accuracy check where you basically take 2 photos of the meter at least 24 hours apart within 30 days. And then you upload that and they basically calibrate it. And so we went through the calibration process. Supposedly that's done. I obviously won't know until I get the next water bill. And even then I won't know because there was already a month passed at that point. So I'll give you an update in 6 months to know if that's accurate or not now. But one of the things I wanted to get was my gas. We have natural gas coming into the house for our heating and our hot water heater. And so I wanted to get the gas meter, into Home Assistant. And I was, I think Gavin, I don't know if you told me that you could do the gas meter or not, but I know Gavin dealt with the SDR antenna. And so I bought one of those shortly after moving into the house and I plugged it into Home Assistant and I never got it working. And so after fumbling through many guides and talking with Gavin and Googling, 50,000 things, I finally got my gas usage integrated into Home Assistant. And so now I can tell exactly how many cubic feet of gas I use because I know what a cubic foot is, I guess. I don't know what a cubic foot is. I don't know what that looks like, but I know how many I use now.
I think it's a Pascal or something is what they call it.
Is it like 3 of my feet? Is that what that is? So yeah, that's cool. I got all my energy usage now, so I can see what I'm using at all times. And the gas is pretty instant. Like it's usually within the hour. And so everything I have, I think I can read pretty quickly. So that's pretty neat. I don't know if I'm going to do anything with it yet, but I guess it's just nice to be able to see it all in one place and see when my heating's turning on and all that stuff. So I have temporarily moved out of my bedroom. So that's a fun project going on. So I decided that when we moved in the house, we wanted to extend our closets. The house has a couple like dead areas or areas that we thought we could extend closets or add closets. And so one of the things that we wanted to do is extend the master bedroom closet. And so we are living in the office at the moment. My bed is right there. I'm pointing to it. It's not normally right there. It's normally in a different room. And so this is where we sleep at until we finish the closet. We basically combined 2 closets. And so the drywall's in the process of being done. Hopefully I'll be back in the room here in the next couple weeks, but I'm not good at drywall. So I'm kind of doubting it.
Are you putting any technology in your closet? Are you putting like a smart, I don't know, call it closet door thing? I don't know.
Smart steamer. I don't know. Steamer. No, I think at most I might explore doing some LED lights around the room. So when we redid the closet, I obviously had to like trim back the baseboard and cut out different areas and stuff. So at this point, I really needed to redo the baseboard. And so I was like, man, maybe at the same time, I'll go ahead and make this project take longer. And I'll go ahead and tackle crown molding for the room too and add some LED strips. And so I've been watching some guides on how to do crown molding with LED strips. They all kind of look tacky. So I'm not really sure I'm going to tackle that. We'll see. I mean, crown molding typically goes at the very top of the ceiling, but with the LED strips, you have to like space it down. And I feel like that doesn't look good. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I think it would be cool to have it around the room just because we basically have a ceiling fan with a light. And so we could use more light in the room. I just don't want it to look like a teenage kid's bedroom.
No, it's run around the top. No,
right.
I mean, most of them, like the crown molding thing, like you can drop it down and create a little pocket there, or you can pull it out from the wall and do something under. Like the idea is like you don't see the lights like you see on the teenage
things. Yeah,
hide them.
Yeah, but if you know anything about me, I'm good with technology. I'm not really good at building things, so I don't know if I'm going to do this yet. So stay tuned for that, I guess. One of my Christmas presents I got, Christmas, birthday, anniversary, I don't know. They all kind of blend together. They're in the same week, so it doesn't really matter. I got a meter smart thermometer, which Gavin has highly recommended many times on this show. And we had some New Year's steaks with it, and it cooked it perfectly. The wife was a little skeptical. It told her to take it off before it was actually reached temperature. But after we took it off and let it set, and I cut into it, and it was absolutely delicious. So we were going to grill out, but I don't know anything about propane tanks, and we left our propane tank outside, and I feel like it was too cold to use it or something. And so the grill was not working. So we had to pan fry it. We pan fried it with the meter in there still. worked great, didn't have any problems, and it turned out perfect. So I'm pretty confident going into this year's grilling season. I think I'll be able to make some nice steaks with it.
I love the meter. I love
yeah,
it.
It's pretty great. Yeah. I haven't done anything with Home Assistant. I think I have it integrated, but I don't know if I'm trying to do anything with it. So
you can put a graph on it. That's what I would do.
I could, yeah, absolutely. Everything deserves a graph, right?
Needs a graph, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not toyed around with I've toyed around with getting a meter, and I'm like, well, I don't really grill that often. But my wife has been toying around with the old pizza oven idea.
Ooh, yeah, that'd be a good idea.
So yeah, we're looking
pizza
into
oven
it.
Would probably get too hot though, right?
I think for the meter, yeah, but it's like it's a timing thing with the pizza oven because it's like 900 degrees, and I think you stick it in for like, I don't know, a minute
like
or
5 seconds.
Yeah, 5 seconds. Yeah, so like,
bam.
Yeah, it's a quick in and out, and your pizza's done type thing. But I hopefully I'll be able to get one of those. I don't think there's any smart versions of it again, because why would there be? There maybe just something with a thermometer on it would be.
Oh, there's something with AI cameras.
I'm sure. Yeah, your pizza's done. It's burnt. Sorry. So
sorry, we dropped the internet connection. We couldn't tell you.
Whoops. Yeah. So I don't know. Like that's one thing on the list. And then we were talking about this before. Like, we've got to call to action, and this has got to go out at the end of the show here. I hope people are still listening, because if not, we're gonna have to do this at the beginning of the next show, because after we did this last week and talked about this, like, I'm like, oh man, the show's gone. And also the thing my wife asked me to ask everybody out there to find for us, help us with, we didn't get through that. So TJ and I are both looking for a robot mop. I guess a robot mop.
Yeah, that's the main one. Like, it can be a robot vacuum as
mop,
well, but the mop is. I think the mop is the most important thing for Seth's wife and I.
Yes, exactly. Because I'm not like this.
Because it's not even that important to me. Like, I feel like Seth's wife wants it more, but I'm just like, yeah, why not? You know,
way more. Yeah. So we've looked at a couple. I don't know. She mentioned, like, for Christmas, she's like, I'm surprised you didn't get the Norwal, and I'm like, what's a Norwal? Like, what is that? And she reminded me that there's a Norwal vacuum mop thing that she looked at, and I'm like, oh, but it seems like there's a million different brands now of vacuum mops. They all have weird names, and they all have even stranger model numbers that are typically only separated by maybe one word or one digit or one random letter that they stuck on the end. Very confusing landscape out there right now. I think when we talked, you had come up with what is the DreamTech
is the most. I don't know. For some reason, I'm more attracted to them out of the other ones. I think it's mainly because I have one now and I like it. But some of these are crazy looking. Like, what is it? The LS10 Ultra or something like that. I mean, it's like the size of a mini fridge. And it's like, it has, like, 30 days of water or whatever. It can hold all this stuff forever, but it's just, they're so big. It's like, do I really need a big one like that? I mean, maybe, I don't know.
The EcoVax D-Bot T20 Omni robot vacuum and mop with hot water mop washing.
That name's too long.
It's like printers. I mean, they just have obnoxious names.
It's 36% off at $6.99 right now.
Oh, nice.
And so that's the thing, right? Is that, like, all these have the different features. And so the more expensive you get, obviously the more features you have, kind of like every other thing technology. Mm-hmm. But, like, some things I've never thought about, like the hot water mopping. I'm like, oh, I guess, that kind of makes sense, whatever. Yeah. But then it's like, oh, well, this one actually, like, cleans its bristles with hot water as well. And you're like, oh, wow, I didn't think about that. But yeah, you probably would want to clean your bristles, wouldn't you?
You need something to clean the bristles off. Yeah. And there was one that was like, if it detects carpet, it would just drop the mops and then keep going. I remember that one.
Yeah. Or, like, yeah, that and, like, how far up it can raise the mops if it doesn't, like, actually drop them or disconnect them. Mm-hmm. They're like, oh, this one raises it 6 millimeters. This one raises 10 millimeters. If you're listening to this, I mean, maybe just shed some light. If you've bought a couple of these and you're like, man, this is a really nice feature, or maybe, I couldn't have, a robot mop without this feature. Let us know, because I'm interested. I can look at these things all day long, but it's like, do I need, hot water brush cleaning? I don't know.
Oh, this one goes up 7 millimeters mop raise.
Ooh.
That's your DreamTech.
And, like, some of these, like, photos too, it's funny on, like, the product pages. Like, I'm looking at the Dream again, and it's like the L10S Ultra, and like they show a picture of it with the family. And there's like, I don't know, she must be like 8 years old or something, this child. And it's almost as tall as the child. It's like, hey, that's pretty big. I mean, I don't know how tall this child is.
I did talk to my wife about that. I said, we're gonna have to have a place for the little base station, because the base stations have
for it.
Yeah, you're gonna have a little place for it to go. And she's like, I already have it. I already have that. It's ready to go. We just need to plug it in. That's what I'm waiting on from you. Like, you just need to tell me which one to get, and that's what we're gonna get. So I want one.
Do you have like a budget or anything? I mean, is there like any kind of guidance?
The budget's reasonable, not one of $1,500 or $2,100.
Is the budget Seth imposed or wife imposed?
Just reasonably imposed, I guess. It's like I'm thinking under 1,000 at least. It maybe even under this $699 one looks pretty good right now. so There's only 4% claims.
That one was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they do get crazy expensive too. Like some of them I'm looking at, like the new ones, like $1,800 for that like 10,000 one that we were talking about, 10,000 PAs of suctions. I mean, they get crazy expensive.
I don't know. DreamTech, Ebot, RoboVac. There's so many of these things out there right now. I don't know. We just kind of want one. I want one that has a little clean water tank that it can swap out with, and I don't have to maintain it too much.
Yeah, that's basically the only thing I want to is I need it to have like auto refilling, so I don't have to mess with it. I mean, my current robot vacuum, I just tell it where to go, and then I change the bag every like 2 months.
That'll work. That's all I'm looking for. Yeah, Roborock has a Q Revo, and that one's $7.99. There's a bunch of them on sale tonight. Which might be kind of bad.
It's because all the Matter ones are coming out.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to miss out on the Matter ones. Oh, darn. Man, there are so many different versions of what looks to be the same thing.
Yeah, and it's basically like TVs, right? Where you go to like Best Buy and you're looking at TVs and you're like, yeah, there's 12 Samsung 65-inch TVs. What's the difference between them? I don't know. This one's OLED and this one's LCD. That's all I can tell.
Yeah. All right. Well, if you know... TJ, this is our call to action. Hopefully you're still listening and you're going to tell us, because man, I'm lost.
Help us spend money.
Yes. Help us spend money. Not a Gavin budget money.
Oh, this is Gavin budget.
What? Yeah. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. Help us spend money. We're looking for this. So, I after delaying till after Christmas and then, not recording the show last week, definitely in the hole of getting this information back. So let me know as soon as you can.
The one time it's acceptable to get a spouse a cleaning product and you failed. So
yeah, exactly. And a tech product too. I mean,
any other time of the year you'd have been slapped for that. At least I would have been. What are you giving me this mop for?
Oh man, can't believe you didn't give me the Norwal. What? What is that?
It's the new plush animal.
I couldn't figure it out. Well, I think that's going to wrap up the show this week. Please let us know about the vacuums. We do want to give everybody a big thank you for who supports the show, but especially those who are able to financially support the show through our Patreon page. If you don't know about our Patreon page, head on over to HomeTech.fm/support to learn how you can support HomeTech for as little as $1 a month. Any pledge over $5 a month gets you a big shout out here on the show, but every single pledge gets you an invite to our private Slack chat, The Hub, where you and other supporters of the show can gather every day and talk about and look at pictures that TJ's AI generating. Not all of them.
Yeah, we can't post all of them. You will not come back to the show.
Yeah. I'm not even wanting to come back to the show. Some of these things you're posting here. But we did actually have a patron pledge at $5. So thank you, D-Bus. I cannot.
If you join our Slack channel, you can find out.
Yeah. So thanks very much for joining there at 5. We really do appreciate it. It really does help out the show. If you want to help out but can't support financially, totally appreciate it. Just appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or positive rating. Just laughing at that name. All right. If you want to help out the show but can't support financially, we'd appreciate a 5-star review on iTunes or positive rating in the podcast app of your choice. That's going to wrap up another week here on Home Tech. Everybody have a great weekend, and we will see you next week.
Till next time.
Take care.
All right, let me make sure I'm recording.
I'm recording.
Here. Seth, are you recording?
I'm looking over here.
Yeah,
and
he's recording the Zoom
I see
meeting.
things going in.
Quadruple
Yeah, there's things going in.
Okay, good. You have like 5 recording devices.
Oh yeah,
going
it's
on?
recording everywhere right now. So
Good.
all right.
Get the TV behind you to record.
Yeah. Alexa,
turn a camera towards you.